Well, Stevie, you could say that was a good win.
That was your gag, really. I was expecting some, patter. But nonetheless, hi Hamish and hi everybody else.
We're back, everyone. We're back after, I was going to say far too long, but I was quite happy to get a wee break from you. But nevertheless, we are back and we're talking about a victory for Celtic, but it didn't seem like it was going to be a victory for the vast majority of that match. Will we start away back at the beginning of the afternoon and work our way up to that point when that amazing goal went in? Team-wise, I suppose, is always a place we like to start.
Really surprised Dyson started. I thought he was going to get more time off after his World Cup heroics. But no, I wasn't surprised that he went off at half-time, of course. But that was the only shocker, really, for me, when Dyson started. I thought he would have played James Forrest for the start or something.
Right. Elsewhere, we had, I think I called Starfelt and Carter Vickers kind of coming back in, being that partnership. I get the impression Ange wants to make that the partnership, going forward in the second half of the season. Obviously, Starfelt's missed a lot of games. Jens has played, Welsh has been in here and there, but I get the impression that that's what he wants.
Yeah, it's what won his league last season. It was that consistency, and it's what built the foundations on that success, wasn't it? And I think that's what he's going to try and go with today. I wasn't surprised that was the duo that he went with at the centre of defence either.
Right, so can we move on to the game now? In a sense, we've got that amazing Callum McGregor moment all in the back of our minds, and we're probably going to work to that quicker than usual because usually I've got fair notes, not as many as Stevie, of course, but I don't know if you can see that. I've got.
I can't even see it.
I've got three things written down, and they're all negatives. Although two of them are negatives about Aberdeen. I just thought in general, Celtic were dominant in that game. Possession-wise, territory-wise, we were the only team in the match looking to try and win that game. Aberdeen's whole tactic seemed to be long balls to their front two that just didn't come off at all because our centre-backs were really good today. But it was strange tactics. It was their keeper, and then they had, if I do my maths, 8 players effectively defending their own box, and then 2 players up front. I know this isn't the Aberdeen YouTube channel, but what did you make of those tactics?
They were a disgrace.
Wow. Sitting on the fence as always.
No, I think everyone should agree with that. They didn't set out to play any football. They got what they deserved. I think you've got to credit Celtic for the perseverance showed. They were complete anti-football. They weren't even smart with their attacks.
Does that work against us though?
I don't think it. No, I don't.
See, when you're asking me what do you get worried about when you're playing opposition, and not a lot at the moment, but if I'm getting worried about anything, it's when teams come after us and try and unsettle our passing patterns. And I know Aberdeen are 5 minutes away from getting a draw today, but I just felt like that tactic never really worked.
They were playing for a draw though. You compare that to maybe St Johnstone or Dundee United, who we've dispatched in recent months. I know they were sitting in, and you could say they were negative, but they chose when to attack, and they were smart to get the goals when they did. They went forward at the right times, and they got their goals from either set pieces, or playing off their mistakes, and they did well in that respect. Aberdeen just didn't look like they were going to get forward at all. They didn't look as if they wanted to put us under any pressure. They didn't want to make it an open game. They didn't make it a good game of football whatsoever. It was just all about Celtic. And when I look at 2 seconds, I've got it here, honestly.
Professional as always.
But look at that. I mean, that 19% possession, that's all they had all game. They were a disgrace. If you're an Aberdeen fan at that, I understand that you're an underdog and you want to try and unsettle Celtic, right, and you want to get a result through any means necessary, but you're paying money to watch that, and it's just appalling.
I suppose again their argument would be we were 5 minutes away from getting a result, but I agree. I mean, Aberdeen fans going along to that today, can they have been enthused by that performance? We're obviously not going to focus on them anymore because it was about Celtic. How did you feel Celtic played today in general?
Not under any. I mean, we weren't under any threat defensively. I think we had enough of the ball, but I was a wee bit frustrated about our use of the ball, decision making just in the area. It was either, we're hitting. I know we scored a goal from long range, and what a goal it was, and we'll get into that, I'm sure. But in the first half, just some of the wayward shooting, apart from I think Jota's effort, wasn't it?
Yeah, when the keeper saved.
The keeper saves, but other than that,
I think we had over 30 shots today.
That's it, but that's poor in itself. Where you just felt we could have played in all that first half alone. The ref done us a favour by blowing the whistle early and knowing 45 minutes. Not like me to criticise the ref, is it? But I just didn't see us getting a goal whatsoever. It was all down to maybe Aberdeen tiring and not keeping their discipline and their shape going, and that's how I felt we were going to get a goal. Because in the first half, I didn't see anything coming. We weren't under any threat, Hamish, but at the same time, wasn't totally impressed with us in the last third.
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange game because we were so dominant, but the scoreline still said 0-0, and as time goes on, you get more and more worried. I think maybe 65 minutes is the real moment when you start to look at the clock and go, this might not be our day. I think I said to you at that point, I still felt we would get a goal.
No, you did.
We had big opportunities. I mean, Kyogo misses, for me, an absolute sitter. I think everyone knows that. It's a chance that he can't miss, and he scored a lot of goals for us this season, but he's missed a few big chances as well. And if McGregor doesn't get us out of jail with that brilliant goal at the end, I think you're looking back at that moment and saying that's not good enough. It still wasn't good enough. I'm not hanging him out to dry, because I think he was involved in the game today. But chances like that really have to be put away on days like that. Is that fair?
I think it is fair. Yeah, it's not like you're out just singling him out. It's a team. It's a team thing, and arguably when the team and the chances were created for Kyogo, that one that he put by the post, he's got to do far better with. And Kyogo is guilty. I mean, we've seen it in the Champions League. We've already talked about that to death, and he is a player that will miss chances. He'll score a lot of goals, but he will miss a lot of chances too. But yeah, sometimes you're just looking for him to be far more clinical, and it was a really disappointing miss. And I think when he went off, I mean, it's not as if we were enthusiastic about it, but it was justified that he went off, because that second half performance, along with the chances that he missed, was riling me, to say the least.
Matt O'Reillying you.
Very good.
To say. I wasn't really worried, although as I say, as time's ticking on, I'm not going to lie. 86 minutes gone, I'm not still quite as confident we're going to get that winner. How are you feeling going into that last 10 minutes? And by the way, I just want to Stevie can give his perspective, and then I'll offer the truth. How about that?
No,
There was a fair bit of cursing going on.
I think just you're a normal football fan, aren't you? You're kicking every ball and all that, and whether you're in the stadium watching it on TV, you're dying to see Celtic get that goal, because again, Aberdeen, I was just more frustrated at them and how they were ruining that game. But I just felt, the perseverance Celtic showed, the mentality, it's no easy to do that. See, when you're playing against a team like that who've got no intention of opening up, like, you've got to be mentally strong, and obviously there's a reason why we have won so many leagues, in the past few years. But you've got to be really mentally strong and show a lot of resilience, and I think Celtic did that. I've got to be honest, you did say that we were going to score. I did feel if we were going to score, it was going to be from like a penalty or something. In the last 10 minutes, I was genuinely just saying, just get down in the box, just dive, claim for everything.
The thing you
but
didn't get
you've
is
got to do that.
diving doesn't work anymore because they've got VAR.
I know, but still, you can make it look good or something. That's what I was screaming for. I was just hoping we'd just get a win through any means necessary. Play for a penalty, play for something. And in the end, I was expecting Aberdeen to do something stupid, and
noise is coming for
my
Ibrox there.
bottles crashing indeed. I was expecting, a goal just to be so scrappy, and it was down to Aberdeen's own stupidity more than anything. But it was a real bit of quality that got us that result.
I think that's the one thing you would say about the performance today. The team just doesn't panic. You've got to ask yourself the question, at what stage would this Celtic team panic? Maybe 3-0 down with 30 seconds to go or something, because they just keep playing their football. And today, I thought we got into really good areas throughout the game. The amount of times we had, overlaps happening, whether it be the full-back or the winger. Second half, Abada was in that same position on the right-hand side of the box 4 or 5 times, and I thought Abada was really good when he came on today, but maybe that final ball wasn't quite there. But despite all of that, despite it being their first game back after your first competitive game back after a month, despite it being freezing cold on a kind of tough pitch, tough venue against an opposition who weren't trying to win the game, they didn't panic at all. And I think the support panics to an extent. I don't think the support at the game panics. It seemed like they were still fully behind the team. But I think different. We certainly we're not panicking, but we just want Celtic to win every single game, and it gets to that point where you're starting to worry and you're throwing the toys out the pram a wee bit. But this team doesn't do that at all. They don't start trying daft things. They just keep playing their football because they've scored so many late goals. St Johnstone, Dundee United, Ross County last season, Dundee United last season. We score so many late goals, and it just means that they have the faith that it'll happen, and it happened again today, and it's amazing. I mean, Callum McGregor on his game back after missing for so long scores a goal like that. It's a proper goal of the season contender for me.
Yeah, it's some strike. It was just amazing. It was such a delayed reaction when it went in as well. We didn't realise it hit the net. It was like a big pause.
Wide, because we'd had a few that had kind of flashed wide to goal.
So many wayward efforts, but that's it. We've got a proper captain in our team. That's why it's why he is the captain. It's why we're top of the league. Why we're so far ahead now. And Callum McGregor is just so important to that team. It's like Ange said before the game. Ange had no doubt in his mind that Callum McGregor was fit. He said he's starting. There was no mind games or anything. He just said right away, no, he'll be playing. There's the reason why. He's just so important for us. And as I say, he's like just a real leader, proper captain.
Because I mean, again, it comes back to how he's a different captain to Scott Brown.
Oh, yeah.
And Scott Brown was an unbelievable captain, but Scott Brown, I would argue, motivated his players in a different way
Mental.
to McGregor. Scott Brown probably doesn't do that today and bang one in with 2 minutes to go.
It's more the mental side with Scott Brown, wasn't it? And rallying the other teams, the other players in the team who are more creative.
He probably rattled an opposition player, and listen, Scott Brown was Scott Brown's a far better captain than he's done more for Celtic than McGregor. But I think in time, moments like that are you can't even put into words how important moments like that are. If we drop points today, we're still 7 points clear, but it just gives the opposition, across the city, that bit of belief that they needed that we could ill afford to give them. And that late McGregor goal, out of nothing. I don't think we score another way today.
No, we don't. That's what we were saying. It was going to be a penalty. I know it's stupid to believe, but it was going to be something like that. I thought an OG or Aberdeen doing something stupid just through switching off, not concentrating, and the lack of fitness and all that because of how much they were chasing the game. But it was just some strike to win it, and I'm glad we won it in that way. But you're right. I mean, I was saying for those last 10-15 minutes that it was reminding me like Hibs last season, the 0-0 game where we were actually here.
Yeah. You were a great laugh
I was in
that
a
day.
great mood that day, of course. I was a few hours later, of course. But it was reminding me a lot like Hibs. But again, unlike that day, with that Hibs game, we weren't creating enough, and we were just sort of playing the ball side to side, and we weren't getting in Hibs like sort of box a lot. We were doing that against Aberdeen. We were still actually creating. We were still, being a threat. And so we did learn the lessons from that, and I think it is just a case of Ange does say the Celtic team never stop, and it's not just a gimmick. It's not just a wee daft phrase. It's true. I mean, how many times this season have we seen it?
People laughed when he said that, remember?
Of course they did.
Who's laughing now?
Not us.
I mean, well, definitely not us. What 9 points clear now? Do you feel... I think first game back was always going to be a big one at Pittodrie, and I'm not saying we've not got big ones coming up as well, but do you feel with a couple of home games to come, given our record they're faultless so far this season, you can maybe kind of relax a little bit over the next week and just kind of edge our
going
way
to take
back
a bit
in?
of time. We're still going to have to get form and momentum as well with these games coming up. I think it is just one at a time process. Like, for example, I know the games coming up, third and fourth game, like games against Hibs, games against Rangers are of course going to be difficult. But I think Livingston's going to be a tricky one in itself. It's going to be midweek, it's going to be at Celtic Park Freezing. The way they play Martindale, how he's going to set them up, very similar to against Aberdeen. We're going to have to, they're going to be stubborn and they're going to be horrible to watch as well. But I'm confident after that. Certainly getting into that game, if we had dropped points, would have been a bit of a downer. But no, certainly not now. We're in a good place for it.
Because it's bizarre how quickly it kind of changes, and if we had a drop points today, we still would have been 7 points clear, and I don't think there would have been any panic here from us or anyone else, but there would have just been a wee sense that, as the tide turning slightly with Ibrox to come, I think it's just vital over this festive period especially that we just keep Rangers at arm's length and 9 points at all times, and I think if we can go out of Ibrox 9 points clear, maybe some greedy people out there would be looking for more, but I would certainly be happy with being 9 points clear coming out of that derby. I think we'd be well on the road to winning the league at that stage. I just feel these weeks are very crucial, and today was a big one. I'm not sure. I suppose there's similarities with the game last year as well, where we scored really late on with Jota, and in terms of getting that late winner, it feels like this could be maybe just as important as well. It feels like a really big result, and I can't overemphasise how big that moment from Callum McGregor was. It was proper captain stuff. Just
hit me there that under Ange now, that's 3 games at Pittodrie and 3 big wins.
3 narrow wins.
Yeah, look at Jota last season 2-1, then the 3-2 game, and now this one. But that's a testament as well. Every time we've played Aberdeen, it's a tough game. It's always like one goal in it, hasn't it, under Ange, other than the game at Celtic Park where we won 2-0 in the first day of the season. So it is always difficult, and I think before the game, none of us were before that game going, it's going to be a canter 3-4. So Aberdeen have had their form up and down. We've been at the top of the league, and rightly so. But we did get into the game, say it was going to be a really tricky fixture, and it was today. But it was just a win, no matter what.
Win at all costs.
And it was a proper way to do it.
And even I'm seeing the chat coming in, and I think everyone's saying the same thing. You know,
when me getting slagged.
Winning, can't tell you about that, but winning today was just crucial and giving Rangers no reason to feel, optimistic, because we know how it went last year and they gave us and we just won, and momentum was picked up quite quickly. It's just crucial we keep winning at this stage. Right, we'll go through comments. I've not actually got a comment for this, but it seems to be the topic of conversation in the comments about Anthony Ralston. Seems like some people kind of slagging him off for that performance, saying, we need to get Juranovic back in the team as soon as possible. Other people saying, Ralston was great today. So where do you come down on that?
I think his final ball was pretty poor today, if I'm honest. Don't think he was great. And I think Ralston's okay in sort of spells for us, a couple of games. But for these festive periods, where we've got the games up until January the 7th, Kilmarnock, I don't think we can persevere with Ralston all the way through. No. I don't think he was a nightmare today.
Don't get any options until probably
after January, isn't it?
Well, Juranovic, I would hope, would be back for Hibs, maybe.
I hope so. I think Juranovic has got to be back for 28th. Certainly, he's got to be back for that game at Ibrox, defo. But no, I wouldn't say Ralston was terrible today. I don't think he was overly impressive either. He was just okay. He worked hard, but some of the final balls from him were awful.
Daft question alert, man of the match.
Of course.
Yeah, if it's not McGregor.
The proper captain. Thought, I was going for it.
Greg Taylor was alright today.
Aye, for as much as he dealt with it, I thought, Abada did very well when he came on. Abada changed it for us a wee bit. We weren't getting any joy whatsoever down the right in the first half with Dyson in there, and then I just felt when Abada came on, Aberdeen's left back was rattled a bit. He just kept on at him and on at him. So.
Oh, sorry, just while we're talking about that, Greg Taylor, this is one of the few notes I've got written down. 29 minutes, Aberdeen player, I'm not sure who, scythes down Greg Taylor on the left hand side, no booking.
And
VAR wasn't used at all today, at all.
Give it time, they're round the corner anyway.
Yeah, right, we'll work through some comments before we go. GP Somo saying, I welcome back, lads. Rusty start. Is he talking about us or Celtic?
Just me.
But relentless as usual, definitely not us. With another great last gasp win. Bit early over here in Australia, but worth setting up for the game. Paul saying McGregor is a machine, out for 3 months, and first game back, he's the one driving the team forward. Eddie Quigley, big fan of the channel, saying very easy, we dominated the game and didn't take the chances. It took a Calmac goal 3 minutes from time. Kookaburra mentioning James Forrest. Forrest was good and played a part in the goal. What about that Forrest running right on full time?
I know.
Was that Forrest or Messi?
Well, I don't think Messi will be able to eclipse the great man tomorrow. We shall see. No, Forrest did well. We came on, as I say, I thought he would have started today, Hamish.
Yep. And final one, James Dunn saying great training run today, 90 minutes of passing practice. It did have a feel of that at times, but it's the kind of game, I think if we'd have got an early goal today, that's a game we win 3 or 4-0.
Yeah,
but it's just the longer the game went on, Aberdeen are getting close at that finish.
They're getting confident as well for the fact that we're missing chances. They're thinking in their head we might get something here, and then you start getting doubt with the Celtic players going, it's not going to be our day. And of course Callum pops up. But you're talking about the passing practice, 856 passes, right?
Yeah, did Aberdeen have
210, and it didn't even feel like that. There was like a stat during the game where it says I think it was 70 odd minutes where Aberdeen had like 96 passes.
We had 600 odd.
It was, as I say, I know at the start we covered it, but it was a disgrace today.
See when we got our goal, right, they then created more in those 5 minutes after the game and looked more of a threat than when it was 0-0.
Yeah, if you're a fan of him, you're livid at that, and you're like, why am I paying money just to see his attack at Celtic for like, see if we play. I mean, I know it's double. Get the point. You know me in the Champions League, right? When I said up against Real Madrid, if we get a result playing horrible football and drawn 0-0, of course we'll be going mental for it. But at least we went toe to toe with Real Madrid for a bit. We gave it a go. I mean, with Aberdeen there, they didn't even do anything for those last 5 minutes, and I just can't get my head around that type of football. It just ruined it. It was a spectacle, and I'm glad to get nothing from
especially when they've got good players. I mean, I think it goes down very easy, but that is it. Duck. I was calling him something rhyming with that earlier, but
no, they're not terrible. They're one of the better teams in the league, and it's just
didn't get that joke at all, did you?
No, I didn't. No.
It didn't even make sense.
Well, look, as I say, it's a bit rusty. First time back, Hamish. I'm sure they'll get into flow apart very soon.
Anything else you want to say? You've been absent for a month. I've been carrying this ship all on my own.
That's through choice. I was here. You just chose to ignore me.
Anything you want to say? You want to say you missed the listeners, maybe the viewers? Sorry,
Miss everybody. I think it's just I can't. No more Winter World Cups. I just really miss Celtic. It was a rotten few weeks. It was a crap few weeks, if I'm honest. And I know we were talking about it as well. The games we've been watching in the World Cup, it's end to end, and even the lesser sides in the World Cup will attack the bigger teams, and you see that, and that's why today it was like that
was very noticeable for me.
I
know there's been goalless draws, a lot of them in the World Cup, but you just feel as if even, I think you used the example of Cameroon against Brazil, they have a goal, whereas today, turning that game on, you're looking at one of the leading countries. If you're a neutral to tuning into that game today, you're looking at Aberdeen, third in the league, I think they've won 9 out of 10 home games in all competitions this season. You're thinking, go on, have a go at Celtic and make a real good game of it, and they just didn't at all. Listen, I'm not going to moan about it, and it's not going to put me in a bad mood all weekend, because we got the win, and I was delighted. I like Jim Goodwin in general. He's a very likeable guy. I've had dealings with him. He's a nice guy. I think he's a good football manager. But I took a bit of pride in that late goal going in, because they didn't deserve anything from that match the way they turned up today, and I'm just so proud now that we have a manager. We can play anyone tomorrow. Real Madrid, the best team in the world.
Playing tomorrow, we've been knackered.
But we can play anyone. We play Real Madrid, as we saw earlier in the season, and Celtic are going to have a go. It might not always work out, but at least we can go in, or come out of the game with our head, high. So, it was poor today from Aberdeen, but we got there, and we roll on to whatever day. We're at the part of the year now where the days don't even make sense. I think it's
Well, don't start me with days. This is Saturday, so tomorrow's Sunday. That wasn't even scripted, was it?
No, it wasn't. Anything else you want to say?
Nah, really is.
This.
Good to be back. So, cheers to everybody for listening and tuning in. I miss. What's the viewers like? I take it as soon as they saw me, they just dropped off.
It was up at about 600 and you started talking.
Thanks, brother.
Right, thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a lovely weekend. No video tomorrow, but we'll be back on Monday. Really getting back into things as well. Obviously a big game on Wednesday night as well. So yeah, chat to you then.